Okay, we're live. So, regardless of the fact that they don't do anything between Lorraine and Alex, in this clip that we watch, it's very apparent that she's trying to put the moves on him.
Hmm. It's a very much of a Mrs. Robinson kind of scene.
Yeah, yeah. And it's just as weird, if not weirder now, rewatching that clip.
Hmm.
And it's funny because again, like the stuff that we find out after this when they return back to the anchor of the episode. Um, I think June asks, "Whatever happened to Lorraine?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, why would they ever ask that?" And Alex just goes, we lost touch after that." And she's like, "Maybe I should try to give her a call." And Elise is like, "Get the hell out of here, no." Um,
Yeah, please don't ask any questions about rationalizing or the intelligence behind any of the writer's thoughts, because as we well know, there is no thought behind any of this.
yeah, zip, zero.
This episode was directed by John Pasquin, by the way. Another in a series of Family Ties directors that somehow or another I have a bizarre connection with. John Pasquin is a veteran sitcom director and feature film. He's done a few features as well. Married to the lovely Jo Beth Williams.
Oh my gosh, why do I know her? What
Uh,
did she do?
Poltergeist, the mom
Yes.
Poltergeist, her best known thing, Big Chill.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And they had a kid who played in Little League with Griffin. So this was somebody who I knew 30 years ago or 20 years ago when Griffin was playing in Little League. He was on a team for many years with the Pasquin, Jo Beth Williams child.
So weird.
It's Los Angeles. What can I tell you?
Yeah, yeah.
It happens. But boy, we have a bunch of clips in this, and in between each clip, I felt like, wow, June, tell us about your trip. And I don't feel like June ever really got too much out about her trip.
Well, that was the whole bit. The whole bit was that she never got to say anything. At one point, she tries to talk about boys that she met, and they talk about a bed and breakfast that she stays at, and apparently that was a new thing in America in 1988.
Mm-hmm.
Like bed and breakfasts and sushi were these like alien concepts in the 80s.
It's really funny. It's true. It was just sort of cracking through the culture.
Yeah, yeah. And so they cut to, I mean, the clips that they show in the first act are Guido's Jennifer trying to hit on the boy that she used to play with in the neighborhood, who's trying to go on a date with Mallory. And then Mallory trying to hook up with Jeff on the couch, and Alex comes in because he'd lost Jennifer in the card game. That was like episode 5. What other clips are in the first
Sweet
act?
Lorraine. That's it. That's the first act, and then Sweet Lorraine is the last one.
Wow. You know what? Let's take a break now because I feel like it's only been 15 minutes, but we only got like another 8 in us, folks.
Clearly, we're running out of steam already. So
yeah. With that, we'll be right back. And we're back. I
review us on iTunes. Oh, I'm sorry. We're not there at rate and review us yet. We're still not at rate. Okay, I just want to make sure.
I don't think we're allowed. I don't think the FCC allows us to do the end credits right after a commercial break.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just didn't mean. Sorry, federal government. I know how you like to regulate things.
Yeah, Jeff Sessions is going to bust you for pot, and he's also going to bust us for the.
Well, I thought all the news today about the president and the ladies in his life, whoever thought that him being such a Lothario could turn out to be a bonus for us Americans.
I know. It's quite a long way from who was Jennifer Flowers in the pages of Playboy.
It is. It's a long way from there, and yet it's almost the exact same thing. It's like what brought down President Clinton, or almost brought down President Clinton, certainly got him closer to being brought down, was it started with Whitewater and it ended up being Monica Lewinsky.
Yeah, yeah.
And although I honestly don't think that he's going to find that he's blameless on Russia.
No, I mean, usually when you call your boss to congratulate them on their election win, It doesn't bode well when you're under investigation.
I thought it was a very classy move on his part to congratulate him on his free and their free elections.
You know what I just watched on Netflix a week or two ago is that documentary Icarus.
Yeah.
Have you watched that yet?
Have not.
Didn't you?
Didn't no.
The doping, the Russian doping?
No, I didn't watch it.
Jen told me.
No, I didn't watch it.
Fascinating.
It was good.
Yeah, it was amazing. You should definitely watch it. I knew nothing about it. I had watched the big Alex Gibney, Lance Armstrong doping documentary a few weeks before that. So I was like, oh, it's another doping biking thing. I'll watch it. And then it turned out to be like 1984 and Russian spies. And I was like, oh, this is quite different than I had expected. It won the best documentary, didn't it?
Oh, really? Oh, yes, it did. Now that I think about it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
Gee, I didn't even write down what clips are in Act 2 of the Return of the Native.
Let's see if we can think about it.
No, I wasn't paying enough attention.
Do we have any mnemonic devices that we could use?
Yeah, it's all up to you. Call Scoop. See if Scoop's got it. Hey, Scoop. I'm sorry to interrupt your very intellectual field trip to San Francisco with your high school debate club.
What are they debating up there? Did he even say?
Whether to call it San Fran or Frisco.
I like Frisco, but I feel like they don't like it.
Oh, they hate Frisco. It's like calling, there are other cities that got, it's like, I hate when people call this state Cali.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's a thing that only people from outside of California do, is call it Cali. Nobody within the state.
SoCal?
I could be caught, I think, saying that I live in SoCal. I could be caught saying that.
Would you be doing it ironically? Like sort of in a character?
I think I would. I think it would be more as a character saying SoCal than me saying SoCal.
Yeah.
But it all comes. It all comes from NoHo in Manhattan.
Right. We start everything, and then everyone else.
That's right. What are we now? What is this neighborhood now? North.
Nobu Socks?
Nobu Socks.
What does that mean?
What are we? We're north of Burbank, south of Oxnard. Is that what it is?
Well, I call it Nobu Socks.
Nobu Socks. Nobu Socks.
I mean, Oxnard is like 2 hours north, right?
Oxnard Boulevard. Oxnard Street is right. So we're south of Burbank and north of Oxnard, or south of Oxnard, north of Burbank.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. That's catchy.
Nobu Socks Estates.
It's Noble Estates.
Noble Estates. Oh Lord, only in Los Angeles, kids. Oh wow. So rate and review our show on iTunes.
You can't. Not yet. We have to talk about.
You can't do it yet?
No, not yet. So what other clips do they definitely do the bed and breakfast where we get to see the kangaroo again.
Right. Where he turned the house and he had a whole bunch of people staying there and making money off of it.
Yes. And
that was a long ass one too.
Yeah, and they took 2 parts of it. They took when the actual the climax of the episode, and they took the part where Steven hasn't talked to the kids.
It's funny. I paid no attention to it, and yet somehow or another, I heard that there was an edit in the scene. Mm-hmm. So the minute you said that, it was like, oh, I heard the edit in the scene, and I couldn't believe how fucking lazy they were that they'd used 2 scenes with a time jump.
Yeah.
That is real laziness, that you're not even just going to take 1 scene out of an episode, but you're actually going to pull a plot out of an episode like it's your plot.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And the thing that impressed me the most is when they get back to present day is that Michael Gross does the same take where he can't, in the second half of the split, they're like, Dad's not talking. He just keeps, every time you try to talk to him, he goes like this, and he like puts his hands through his hair. And Michael Gross does it again. And I was like, if that were me playing Stephen Keaton, I wouldn't have remembered exactly how I did that. I was impressed.
To recreate it again, yes.
Yeah, I would have had to look at the tape.
Absolutely, so would I. It would have been too spontaneous.
It's, again, the bad thing about this, that the last clip show that they did, they ended up, toward the end of it, they did a montage where there was music playing, and they had hugs, and they had kisses, and it was like fast cuts. It's shocking to me that even in 1988, Family Ties is so lazy that they'll use long cuts of scenes as opposed to montages.
They are lazy. That's one thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
We find out in this episode Alex P. Keaton loves monarchy.
Does he say the word monarchy at one point?
He does. Like, they say something about the Queen, and he says, I love monarchy. So Alex P. Keaton, just like William F. Buckley and other of his prodigies, are anti-democratic. All of these little fascist alt-right people, and William F. Buckley, the godfather of the conservative movement in America, they're all anti-democratic and they're all fascists. So Alex P. Keaton fits right in line with their god-awful politics.
And they all sit around so rapt listening to June's regale them with stories from Great Britain. And I couldn't even really put together a single anecdote that she had. The whole thing was just so weak and lame and lazy and awful and time consuming. And I was mad at Scoop every minute I was watching this.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's also interesting the fact that this was so lazy that they didn't want to use it in the past. And now they've decided to use it now.
And that's been a signal lately. When we see an episode that's been pulled from other seasons, it's never a good sign.
Yeah, and at least in the past, it's been past episodes that did have a plot line. They're reusing a clip show. They didn't make a new clip show.
Yes, I don't know any other way to say it, but this was from 3 seasons ago, and it was laying in the can. And they didn't bother to make a new clip show.
Yeah. And this is your last episode before the final episode for the summer. I mean, right. I think it goes without saying at this point, Corey, is we talked about it in the past where Michael J. Fox was doing some bit that he talked about where he's like, you know what? I think we've made fun of Mallory for being dumb enough times, Gary. Right. I think we should wrap it up. And at this point in season 6 of Family Ties, I think it's safe to assume that they knew Family Ties wasn't coming back after next season.
Right. And it was going to be one and done right now. So just they were okay with wasting our time.
Yeah. So that's nice for them.
And it was already buried on Sunday nights.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the cash cow that they needed on Thursdays. When it was on Thursday nights, they needed to be a cash cow. Now that it was buried a little bit, it was much more protected.
Exactly. I think the elephant in the room in this episode is, who is June related to?
Yeah, never told whose brother or sister is she the daughter of.
She looks more like Elise.
Elise, right. So it's not Uncle Rob. It's not Uncle Rob. We've met you.
But at the same time, Uncle Ned, was he married and did he have children?
Don't know. We were not informed of that.
So that's a great unanswered question, and I leave it up to you listeners to do some sleuthing.
Rate and review.
Corey, do you have somewhere you need to be right now? Is this why you're trying to get rid of me?
Oh, gosh. No. Lord, no. I've got nothing to do. There's nothing I'd rather do than sit here and discuss a clip show that was filmed 30 years plus 3. 30 with like parentheses plus 3 years ago.
If this episode were Jesus Christ, it would be trying to save the world right now. Instead, it's just 2 idiots talking about it, is where it currently lies in the ether. Do you think, Corey, do you think anywhere else in the world people are... I'm sorry, what?
I said it could have been 3 idiots talking about it. I just want to tell you that.
Yeah. The father, son, and Scoop.
Yeah. Oh, Lord. So next episode is the final episode of season 6, huh?
That is it. Yeah, it's going to be the final episode. Then we'll take a couple weeks off and come back for our victory lap, season 7.
Wow, if you can call it that.
I will talk more about it next week, but do you have any predictions of where season 7's going to go?
Oh, I have not a clue, not an idea.
Yeah, all I could say is that I know Courtney Cox is going to come back, but beyond that, I have no idea what happens.
Oh Lord, you can see some of their scintillating relationship grow.
All right, Corey, do you want to start off the credits?
Rate and review our show
On iTunes.
on iTunes.
For questions and comments, email us at qualitytimewithfamilyties@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter at QTWFT for updates. You can follow each of us at Follow Jones is Scoop. I'm at Paul Packler.
I'm at Core Pepin. Scott's at. Hey kids, I'm Scoop.
All right, listen, I'm starting an email account so I can get a jump on that before some fan does it. What did you just say? What was it? Hey, I'm Scoop.
I'm Scoop.
We'd like to thank our host and producer, Barbara Dillon at Fanbase Press. Fanbase Press is a comic book publisher and online community supporting creators and fans through daily reviews, interviews, and podcasts that span the pop culture spectrum. Check them out, fanbasepress.com. We'd like to thank Perry Adams, who beautifully performs Family Ties and our theme song Without Us. Check out Perry's website, perryadams.com. We'd like to thank Brian Dillon, who created our fantastic drawing and artwork, as well as edits our show. Bryant is the president and co-founder of Fanbase Press. Follow him on Twitter at Comic Book Slayer. And finally, we'd like to thank Sean Foster, Fanbase Press's graphic designer, for designing our logo. Gang, we'll see you next week. We promise it'll be a lot better of an episode. I think this was our worst episode.
Couldn't be worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye. Bye.